Hi everybody, it's Gemma. Welcome back to Pampered Wolf. Today we are going to be doing another foundation review on an affordable brand. This is the Max Factor Facefinity All Day Flawless Flexi Hold. I have lost count of the amount of times that I've been asked to review this foundation. I've really been putting it off because Max Factor does not excite me in the slightest. So I've been thinking, should I, shouldn't I? I have eventually bitten the bullet and gone to Superdrug and bought my shade, which isn't really my shade. It's a little bit paler than my shade, but we are going to work for it. Now, this is not going to be a first impressions review. I've been wearing this for a couple of weeks now. You may have seen in previous videos that it's been in the description box. So I know how this works on my skin. I know how to get the best out of it. Let's do a little bit of bump on this product and we'll get some on my face. So this is the Max Factor All Day Flawless 3-in-1 foundation, £13.99 in the UK. You can find it slightly cheaper in different shops, but £13.99 is the recommended retail price. You can also get this in Walmart in the US for $18, but again, think you may find it cheaper elsewhere. You get 30 ml worth of product, which is the standard 1 fluid ounce. This comes in 40 different shades, and I've gone for the shade 32, which is called Light Beige. Now, if you go into store, all 40 shades will not be there for you to pick. I bought this from Superdrug in the UK, and I think there were around about 12 shades to choose from, which is why I didn't get my exact shade. If I'd have picked it from the internet, I would have probably got something that was spot on for my skin, but in store, less of a choice. This gives a natural matte soft focus finish, and it is medium to full coverage. You can sheer this out or you can build this up. And like it says in the title, this is a 3-in-1 foundation. So this is a primer, this is a concealer, and a foundation in one. Possibility of saving time in your morning routine here. Fingers crossed. This has Flexi Hold technology in there, which means that it will move around with the skin and not bunch up and crease throughout the day. It's also supposed to be ultra lightweight and also ultra long wearing. This should last you over 12 hours. This is also touch proof and waterproof. It does contain a small amount of alcohol, but it is unscented. This has an SPF of 20 in here, but again, don't rely on the SPF. In a foundation, always apply a separate SPF beforehand. Let's get some of this on my face. Okay, so as per usual, I already have my skincare on my face, and already knowing how this foundation applies to my skin and how it sits throughout the day, I have applied a little bit more moisturizer and a really, really nourishing moisturizer around my drier areas, just to make sure that it doesn't sit in any dry patches and it stays beautiful on my skin all day. Now, like I said before, this is in the shade 32 Light Beige. I am going to be applying half of my face with my favourite brush, which again is not available to buy at the moment. It's the Revolution Pro 230 brush. Hopefully they will release this again because it's an amazing brush. And I'll be applying the other half with a generic blending sponge. So my skin at the moment is in really good condition. If you are new here, hi, don't forget to subscribe to my channel. I upload on Mondays and Thursdays at 8 PM London time, and I'm also on Instagram if you want to follow me on there. It's at Pampered Wolf, all lowercase, no spaces. But if you are new, I do have quite dry skin. I am using tretinoin, and especially around this area on my face, I do get quite a lot of dry areas. The rest of my face is pretty normal, but sometimes quite dehydrated. So let's just apply this to the skin. It's a really thin consistency, but it does stand up on the skin, so it's actually quite thick, but when it goes on, it does spread to quite a thin layer. I have also found that this reacts differently with lots of different skincare. So it depends what skincare I've had on my face, how this actually reacts. So if you are trying this and you find that it really doesn't suit your skin, have a look at what skincare you're actually applying and try something different before you make up your mind, because It is quite a temperamental formula, I've found. You do have to be quite quick with this foundation because it does dry down really quickly. You also get that polka dot effect on the skin as it sinks into some of the pores and sits into the pores. I'm guessing that that is because this has an inbuilt primer in there, so it's just trying to blur everything out and fill in the pores. It doesn't last for a really long time, so within around about 20 minutes that polka dot effect on the skin has vanished on me, so hopefully you will get the same experience. So it still has clung to a little bit of dryness around this area here. I will zoom you in, but I will show you this in natural lighting a little bit later on as well. I'm not sure if you can see that in this lighting. Let's do the other half of my face with a sponge. Now, if you have dry skin like me, I feel like this is the way to go. Applying it with a sponge gives a much nicer finish on the skin on those drier areas. It does still cling to the dry patches, but because you can shear this out a little bit using the sponge, it doesn't look as bad. I really like the coverage of this foundation. It's definitely a medium coverage, but it's a low medium coverage. So after finishing the foundation with both the brush and the sponge, my favourite side is the sponge side, only because it looks slightly better on my drier areas, although it still has clung to some of those drier areas. I could have gone underneath my eyes with this foundation, but I have done that previously and it hasn't worked out well. It does say that you can take it underneath your eyes because obviously this is a primer, a concealer and a foundation in one, so they say it will cover your dark circles, but I haven't found that that is actually the case, so I'm going to do my normal thing underneath my eyes. This has dried down so nicely. I can feel my face, I can rub my face, and I know there is zero transfer on my hands. So if you are wanting something that is transfer resistant, that is touch proof and also waterproof, looks really nice on the skin. It's a really flattering finish, and even though you can still see a little bit on my chin where it's clung to a dry area, I don't think it looks dreadful. Some foundations do when they cling to dry areas, but this one definitely doesn't, and the polka dot effect in my pores has already gone after around about 5 minutes, so that is actually quite good. I really like this foundation. It is extremely lightweight, and because there isn't that tacky feeling on the surface of the skin, I don't feel like I've got to be careful throughout the day what I touch, how I touch my face, who I hug, that sort of thing. I just feel like I have no foundation on, but my skin looks a lot more flawless. Let me put the rest of my products on and I'll be right back. Okay, so this is the finished look for today, and to say I've had a little bit of a nightmare applying all the other products to my face is an understatement. I did say at the beginning of this video that this foundation was really temperamental depending on what you put it on top of or what you applied it with. I did not lie, everybody. I wasn't expecting it to be as bad as it was today because I applied it this way yesterday and it was nowhere near as bad as it is today. Now let's just talk about the good points, because on the side that I applied this foundation with the sponge, perfect. It looks flawless, my pores look airbrushed, it's gone on, it's not clung to masses of my dry patches. It wouldn't be my favourite foundation of all time just by how it's gone on, but it's definitely not bad. Now let's move on to this side. And then I'm going to show you this in natural lighting, because you'll see things in natural lighting that you just cannot see in studio lighting. When I tried to apply my concealer, which I've applied with this foundation loads of times before, it started to go really mottled on my skin and go very cakey and very bitty and start to break down. Very odd. It was like I'd applied an oil on top of the foundation and it just started to break down immediately. I am still a little shocked. Like I've said, this is not a first impressions review, but this is the first time this has happened to this degree on my skin. So this is the side that I applied the product with a brush. Let me show you this in natural lighting. So firstly, we're going to look at the side that I applied with the sponge, which looks really nice. Yes, it has sunk into some of my dry areas, even though I seriously prepped my skin with a lot of moisturizer, but it doesn't look bad. It's really flattering on my skin. That nice natural matte finish is really lovely, and you know, I'm not in love with it, but I definitely don't hate this foundation. But let's go on to the side that I applied with the brush, and you can see around my chin area that it's clung to some serious dry patches down there. And on my cheek area where I've tried to blend in the concealer with my foundation, it's just gone really badly. It started to go really patchy, it started to break down, it just looks really thick and gloopy on my skin. It just looks so patchy. Not nice at all. Now, I am not going to do a wear test on this foundation today because for me it looks so bad. I have things to do today. I have to go out of the house and I cannot bump into people looking like this. So the wear test is out. Anyway, the side with the sponge, I know already. I mean, it's touch dry. You can rub your hands on it. No transfer whatsoever on the backs of my hands. The Flexi Hold technology, this does not sink into any fine lines. This does not go cakey. This does not go creasy if you apply the right amount and if you apply it correctly. I would always say apply this with a sponge because it is far too temperamental to apply this with a brush. I have found over the weeks of wearing this though that it can be quite drying on the skin after wearing it for quite a long period of time. So I wouldn't necessarily recommend this for anybody with dry skin. In fact, not just necessarily, I wouldn't recommend this for anybody with dry skin. Anyway, if you have a more combi skin or an oily skin and you don't want to be using a foundation that needs setting in place, then this one might be great for you. This definitely does not need setting in place. You don't need to powder this at all. It will last all day. And that is a great positive. So if you have combi or oily skin, this might be the best thing ever for you. This also does not oxidize, so another positive. I haven't found that this has changed color throughout the day, even after the 12-hour mark. It's just not for me. It's not suited to my skin. It's not suited to any of my skincare. I have tried this, however, without any skincare on my face whatsoever, and it was still really temperamental on my skin. So for me, this is a no. But this may suit quite a lot of people. Anyway, I really hope you've enjoyed this video. I hope you've got something out of it. A little bit of a nightmare for me, and but I hope you've enjoyed it. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. There is a watermark in this corner. If you click on it, it will take you through to my homepage where you can subscribe. I'm also on Instagram if you want to follow me on there. It's at Pampered Wolf, all lowercase, no spaces. Hope to see you all in the next video. Bye.